Greetings, fellow humans. This is Tea with JD. Today's Tea with JD is brought to you by Adagio Honeybush Red Tea. It's rooibos. It's delicious. It smells great. And I'm a happy guy. Uh, Today's episode, Rambling and Ranting, is actually about something that a good friend of mine asked. Diana Bedorsini actually asked, what role do teachers play the development of a writer, or at least in inspiring? And yet she actually asked that during during the panel at the Puerto Rico Comic Con. And I told her, if you want me to answer that question, I'll answer that too. And she was like, please go for it. My answer is a bit complicated because my relationship with teachers was not complicated, but it was a mixed bag. I think everyone has a mixed bag of relationships in terms of teachers. But here's the thing. Some make, there are teachers that make profound impacts, positive and negative. I had both. Let's start with the negative. I'm not going to mention names because some of these people have passed away. I'm not going to spit on their grave or anything. But it wasn't the best relationship. In 11th grade, I wanted to be in forensics, and I wanted to do an original piece. The teacher and I weren't seeing eye to eye. The teacher in question wanted me to do things in a certain way and was trying to direct me, and I wanted to do things my way. Looking back, I think it kind of makes sense that eventually I at least began the indie route and have been enjoying it a lot because I am stubborn that way. Not because I want to be a hard ass, but because that's just the way I'm built. But we did clash a lot to the point where he just kicked me out of the team. And I think I wasn't mature enough to see what he was trying to do, and I think he was too stubborn to try to work around or suggest other things. And my original piece, he just really didn't like it. He's like, ugh. And I'm actually going to write either a novella or a short story on that eventually. But that's a good example of what not to do. I was motivated. They saw talent of some sort, but there was no chemistry. Nothing. And another occasion, another teacher compared me to one of my brothers. Long story short, we had a really deep conversation about how that's not cool. And basically, I'm still pending to retake French because of that, and that's so childish and stupid. But it is what it is. So that's the two negative examples. What are positive examples? In 11th grade as well, in English, I did a short story, which is actually part of the basis for the human cycle. And I actually lost that short story. And I think I've mentioned this before, and I'm going to rewrite it, and I'm obviously going to have the benefit of hindsight and experience and several thousand words in between versions to try to do a much better job this time. But I got 100, and the note on the short story said, "There's something really special here. You should really consider writing." Next short story I write, I tried to do a detective thing and whatnot, and since the other one was so original and fresh, this one was more cliche. She just hammered me. And the note said, I've already seen what you can do, so you can't pass this by me. I try again. And I'm still trying to do her proud. And in college, in Spanish, first and second year, I actually switched courses to take a class with a professor I was told was really good, and she did not disappoint. She was It was to the point that the class was so enjoyable that I was the bookworm. I was the nerd. I was the one that read the Bible and read the text that had to be read at the same time as the text that we were reading, just to compare notes. I took a lot of notes. I got A in every exam, and every time I had to write an exam, I would try to make it creative and fun because my thought pattern was that, how many tests does a teacher have to read? Might as well make it entertaining. And I would get like little parentheses saying, how did you come up with this? This is so weird, but this was so fun to read, and this is an exam. Thank you so much. I needed this. Your exam was in the middle of the pile, and I will always do that so that I can finish the exams. And that was also quite the compliment. And again, it goes back to I enjoy writing. Some people limit themselves to, oh, I enjoy writing fiction, or I enjoy writing science fiction, or I enjoy writing romance. I enjoy writing. Anyway, I love writing letters. I love making things personal, and just going that extra mile with anything that I write. Um, Here's the thing. I luckily the Estrada gene and the De Jesus gene from my father's side, being stubborn is pretty much there. So even on bad days, the will to keep writing is always there, even on bad days. The thing is that I'm very fortunate to have that stubborn gene, and the example of my parents for that, and my grandparents for that, and other key people in my life that show me that you just got to keep going. That's the best option always. But some people don't have the benefit of that example, or maybe they're going through a really tough time when they're at a crossroads where just one positive push, one positive word can make the difference. On more than one occasion, I've been gifted with people who have doubted themselves, and I've told them, just go for it, please. And seeing how much they've written from the moment that we had that conversation till today means that I put like a little grain of sand, and I gave them a push in the right direction, and they have proven me so right. Because you see that spark in people, and you see that spark in young people. And at the Puerto Rico Comic Con, I saw a lot of young people with, not only with ideas, because I've seen a lot of people with ideas. Oh, I got ideas. No, ideas and drive, but they have that self-doubt, and it's like when they came to my booth, I did. If I had to talk for an hour and a half to convince them to kill, or at least forget and ignore that dragon for an hour, so that they could write. And I do hope that I did have a positive impact. But this goes back to teachers. We still live in a society where teachers are necessary, are key figures, and can make such a difference. And a lot of teachers just, they want to toss in the towel. They don't want to give the extra mile. But I know teachers who do give the extra mile, and that makes such a difference. And every time that I meet a teacher that goes that extra mile, I meet a librarian that goes that extra mile, I meet that parent that goes that extra mile, or anyone who's encouraging, I do anything I can to help them out, because and that's just about writing or a career path or anything. If you see someone who's passionate, why are you going to snuff that passion because you think that they should be X or Y thing? No, that's not gonna do anything. I had a young writer that wants to write, and he's like, oh, I almost chose another path, and for several years, I've had to work full time while writing. That did not stop me. That won't stop me. And life will give you obstacles to test your mettle and see, okay, how much do you want it? And in my case, it's like, how much do you want it? Are you going to write in the mornings? Are you going to write in your lunch breaks? Are you going to do anything you can to write while not letting that interfere with your life? very important to me. And my message to him was go for it and make it work. And I sent them the link to the video I made about making it work. But sometimes you just need that voice, that one person. And a lot of times it can be a teacher. And I could have had teachers that, like the first example that I gave, that could have been so negative that I would have given up because personalities don't mesh well, or because they are the eminence. But just this much positive reinforcement from another teacher made the difference for me to question, well, I think I can do this. I think I can do this. And although, I'm no Hemingway or anything, I'm not a bad writer. And it's just because I believed in myself, thanks to other people that believed in me. But sometimes people need some type of validation. People of all ages. It's not just kids. But if you empower a child or a teen to go for it and to be responsible and to be a better person, I've heard so many stories where one teacher was the difference. Oh, thanks to this teacher, I started going after school to do this, and that's awesome because I could have ended up in a gang. I've heard this story. It's not that I heard it in a documentary. I know the person. I know a person. I have a friend who told me, if this person hadn't done this, I might have ended up here. And it's just because one person cared. And at least on a very personal level, I know one teacher that cares and makes a big difference. And I thank her a lot. And for her support to me and all that she does. And we need more of that. So I'll leave you that. That's some food for thought to all you teachers. And to any writer of any age, if you ever have any self-doubt, first off, try to kill it by yourself. If not, drop me a comment or an email. We'll get through it, okay? So for now, peace, love, and Maki rolls.